But one piece of land here, a piece of kedusha here. What America can compare to this kedusha, and you can compare to kedusha? No. There's so many Yidden there. Okay, you don't have to be there for whatever. Have a shlichus, whatever.
Yeah, the hashpah coming into Eretz Israel is like less klippa. I forget which is missing, but there's like less of a layer of klippa coming into Eretz Israel.
You mean to the people that come? You mean?
To be in Eretz Israel,
Ah.
the hashpah that comes here from the
Oh yeah.
Can I just tell
Sure, please.
Exactly what you're saying? So I have a son. I know Hill has children that live in the Golan. Right now, with my son, we've spoken about this a little bit. I have a son, Gabriel, our second son. So he's now living in the Golan, and he's working on a cattle ranch, and he's literally like a cowboy. Wow. Like he's like the right hand man to the rancher, and they raise cattle. They raise cattle that it goes for beef, and they also have goats, and they do milk, they do cheese, so forth. And the lands that they lease from the government for the cattle to graze is the equivalent of approximately 5,000. It's over about 22,000 dunam, wow, which is about 5,000 acres, approximately. And the westernmost border of this land is the Jordan River, north of the Kinneret. In other words, on the western edge of the Golan Heights. And the rancher or farmer to the west is a Bedouin or is an Arab. And it's a very, very huge amount of territory. And there's like minefields, if you go in the Golan is full of minefields, but there's a lot of elements that I didn't realize that he explained to me that actually the land literally needs guarding. So part of his job is he has to go out every day and make a whole, what's called a sivuv, to make a whole round to go and check on the cattle and where are they, and he has to fix fences, and he has to do all types of work to literally do shmirah on this cattle. Mm-hmm. So we were speaking about it, and I didn't ask, he mentioned, on Shabbos, he has to go out and, he has to go check on the cattle and so forth and so on. But he told us, he said, on Shabbos though, we don't do any repairs, we don't do any, work that, we only do the bare minimum. Okay, so I was very interested. I didn't really know, I was imagining, what is that, vis-a-vis Shabbos, how does that, okay, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Obviously. So he said to me, though, on his own, he said recently, he said to me, he said, Abba, he called me, he said, I want to tell you something. He said that the rancher who has the ranch to the north that borders the property, he's religious. So I said to him, I asked him, he came over and we were talking, and he said, this is what I do, I have to do. He said, how do I deal with this on Shabbos? He said, well, how do I reconcile this, what I'm doing on Shabbos? Because he's not walking, he's either driving like a four-wheel drive vehicle, or he's literally, or in some cases he has to ride a horse because he can't get to all these areas. Now our son also carries a gun. He's is in the army, etc. So the man told him, he said, and this is what our son said, this one was, it's connected, he said, you have, first of all, on Shabbos, you have certain responsibilities to take care of the animals, number one. He said, but also, he said, you have a responsibility, part of your responsibility is literally to guard, you're guarding the land. You're literally doing like a watch. In other words, like just how we have like security forces and the army has to continue working on Shabbos because of obvious reasons. He said you're in the same situation, having to do with the land, the whole area that you are. So he said so my son wanted to share that, and I'm sharing that because simply sharing that with here because we're speaking about the kedusha of the land. And we're speaking about how the land it is precious, but it needs to be, obviously it needs to be guarded, and that and we're speaking about the Rebbe. I mean, what other Manig of Yisrael do we know who cared about Eretz Yisrael and about the Jews living in Eretz Yisrael? I mean, I don't want to, God forbid, I don't want to say anything negative about anybody. That's not my point. My point, though, is that the Rebbe clearly, he was extremely outspoken, passionate about the security of Eretz Yisrael, and passionate about taking care of the Jewish population in Eretz Yisrael.
Your son is a true Shomer Shabbat.
Ramat dealt in that letter,
I got a
he does
cousin
mention
in
that. He does
Rabbi
mention the
Dalfin.
land as well.
Rabbi
He's
Dalfin.
protecting the land and
Michael Hill,
Like
and
a-
Hakush Shemesh, good to see you. Be well. Regards to your
Just
wife.
starting up after you.
Okay.
Sometimes he has to. Yeah, it's true. I mean, he doesn't have his phone, obviously, but he has a gun, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should thank you for biggest pleasure.
When you travel?
On Wednesday.
But his soul is sore. Hundreds
My
of
daughter
thousands.
and family just came back from 100.
Oh, thank you.
I'm on very rare.
Most days.
It's all good.
Not always.
I feel like
Reconnecting.
definitely should.
The truth is,
I'll send it to him. Make a small burrow.
And I find it helpful, but
I'm very sure we'll see what
I want to learn other things and consider some. I want to learn the secrets and I want just look there. I can read the Tanya, I can listen to Tanya. I got all the books on the book. I got the Steinsaltz. And I want to expand to the Rebbe,